We have in front of us not one, but two new rifle scopes. The Helix HD on my right and the Helix HDLR on my left. And these two are quite similar, so we're going to run through them together in this video. But before we get into the features, let's talk about how these fit into our line of products. As you know, we have a few families of rifle scopes. We have the Helix, which is our, well, if budget is the wrong word, I'd say our affordable 30mm tube line of rifle scopes. We have the Titan, which is our 34mm mid-range line of rifle scopes with a slightly improved optical system to the Helix scopes. We've got the Nexus, which is our sort of top of the range 30mm tube rifle scope. And I guess I can mention the Theos. The cat's out the bag, but the Theos will be a true tier 1 beast. It's been 3.5 years in development, and I cannot wait to tell you more about that in the coming weeks. The Helix HD and HDLR are still part of the Helix family with that 30mm tube, but they actually share more similarities with the Titan in terms of optical performance. They've got the same quality glass, they've got similar chemical composition in the lens elements, and they've got the same number of lenses. And this improved optical performance basically allows us to push the scope to the extreme, in the sense that the 4-16 and the 6-24 Helix both have 4x zoom optical systems, whereas this has an 8x zoom optical system. Better optical system means that you can zoom in more without seeing optical imperfections as much, and that allows the scope to go from 2x to 16x, extremely versatile, and you're going to notice that improved optical system straight away when you look through the scope. Price-wise, these are going to fit more or less between the Helix and the Titan range. I'm reluctant to give actual numbers, as this can vary country to country and can change over time. If you want exact numbers, we have a very useful dealer map on our website. Go check it out, contact your local dealer and ask for pricing. So now you know where these fit in the Element Optics family of scopes. Let's get into a little bit more detail as to what these particular models are all about. And it really starts with the fact that we had a lot of feedback requesting an illuminated Helix. And we realized that these requests were coming from hunters who needed that illumination for hunting at sort of dawn and dusk in Europe and the eastern US. So we decided, instead of just plonking an illumination unit in an existing Helix model, that we'd actually design a scope from scratch that is better suited to the style of shooting that those people need. In other words, a more versatile zoom range, better optical system for performing well in those adverse conditions, and a more lightweight, compact design. The 50mm objective lets in more light than the 44mm objective on the 4-16 Helix. The 30mm tube allows for plenty of elevation travel, but also allows for a good field of view without being too bulky or heavy. And the magnification range of 2-16 is extremely versatile. At 2x you can shoot a wild boar on the run, and at 16x you can lie prone and shoot an antelope at over 500 yards. It's really everything you need, and the excellent optical design means that you still get brilliant clarity at full magnification despite the 8x zoom system. We also decided that a hunting scope needed to be second focal plane to allow the fine reticles that most hunters want. But this is where we got a little bit stuck, because while discussing reticle design and turret configuration, we quickly realized that hunting means different things for different people. Myself and Shane, being from South Africa and Arizona, are used to open country with mountains. When we hunt, we need an MRAD or MOA reticle and exposed turrets so we can dial for longer shots and account for things like inclines or changes in atmospheric conditions.
Well done.
Hey, nice. Nice. Well, that happened quick.
While in Sweden, it was more about optical performance in low light, capped turrets, high quality illumination, and a simple reticle. So our plan for a Helix Hunter scope that could do everything was out the window, and we decided that it was better to focus on two different designs for different styles of hunting in different parts of the world. Enter the Helix HD or Helix High Definition and the Helix HDLR or High Definition Long Range. Let's talk about turrets, because this is one of the design features that differs between these two scopes. The Helix HD features capped low profile turrets. The cap turrets provide weather protection, low profile, so that if you're stalking through tight brush or you need to put this gun in a tight rifle case, it's easy to fit in. And we've kept everything very, very simple on the scope. Units are in 1 centimeter at 100 meters. So one click will move the reticle 1 centimeter at 100 meters, 2 centimeters at 200 meters, etc. This is essentially exactly the same as milliradians, but we've tried to keep things easy to understand for people who don't want to use those fancy units of measurement. Both the elevation and windage turrets are resettable using a cartridge. So if you're out hunting with a cartridge, you can use the rim of the case to loosen the top cap, and once the cap is loose, you can pop the turrets up, you can reset them where you want to zero them, and you can tighten them back down using the rim of the case. No tools required. Everyone's got a cartridge with them when they're hunting, so that makes life much easier. There is no zero stop on the HD model. However, it doesn't mean you can't dull, and we actually do include 2 thread protector rings, one for each turret. And the point of this is if you want to dull for a shot, let's say you know you're going to want to dull and you're walking with a scope slung over your back with the turret exposed, you can actually thread on this thread protector ring, and it stops dust and dirt getting in the threads and also just cleans it up, makes it look a little bit neater. The HDLR features the same capped windage turret as the HD, nice and compact, not going to snag on anything, but the elevation is exposed. And this is the same tried and tested elevation turret that's on our other Helix models. We've had really, really positive feedback. It's really solid. Clicks are very positive. You get 6 mils or 15 MOA per revolution, and you do have a built-in zero stop. So if you're dialing up, you're going multiple turns, you can come back, find your zero nice and easy. We've got a revolution indicator, so once again, if you're dialing multiple turns for a very, very long shot, you're not going to lose your place. And this is a tool-free system. So if you want to reset the turret, you can loosen this lock ring with your hands, you can put it back down where you need it, and there you go, turret set. I'll tell you a secret, this is probably my favorite turret in a whole line of scopes. And the best part is, funnily enough, this actually has more elevation travel than the rest of our Helix line. You get 100 MOA of elevation travel, or 29 mils, which, let's be honest, is more than you'll ever need for a scope like this. On the side, we have the parallax, and this is actually the same on both units. Parallax from infinity all the way down to below 10 meters or yards. The MRAD models have the parallax marked in meters. The MOA models have the parallax marked in yards. And on both models, you'll see the illumination unit right next to the parallax. There are 6 brightness settings with off positions in between each number, and this looks a little different on each model. The HDLR has most of the main reticle lit up with only the bars unlit, while the HD has just the center dot illuminated. We expect these scopes to be used with infrared and thermal clip-ons for shooting at night, because the low magnification of these scopes is perfect for this. You get the right field of view for using clip-ons. And it's always helpful to have a good portion of the reticle lit up when using these units, so that you have those hold points visible. Our testing with thermal clip-ons has yielded really, really good results. We know illumination is extremely important to hunters, so we've spent a ton of time getting this perfect. The result is that the reticle is very evenly lit, very crisp, and there are no light leaks. We're very happy with how this turned out. What can we say about magnification? Well, I've already spoken about the very versatile magnification range, but when talking about using the magnification, we need to remember that these are second focal plane rifle scopes, which means that the reticles will subtend at a specific magnification. They don't stay, let's say, connected to your sight picture when zooming in and out like you'd have on a first focal plane rifle scope. And so there's a few things I need to mention here. The Helix HDLR has a MRAD or MOA reticle that is calibrated at 16 times magnification. So when using this reticle, you're probably going to want to stay at 16, and we've actually marked the 16 on the magnification ring in red so that you don't forget. The HD, on the other hand, works a little bit different. We've actually calibrated the Raptor 1 BDC reticle at 8 times. You'll see there the 8 on the magnification ring on the HD is in red. The reason for this is that at 8 times we've got the reticle set up for a very generic 308 Winchester load, shooting 168 grain soft point hunting bullets, which is basically the standard generic load that you'll find if you purchase any ballistic calculator app from the App Store and you open it up. That'll basically be your standard. But because different cartridges give you different trajectories, some shoot a bit flatter than 308, some shoot a bit slower than 308, 8 times is right in the middle. So you can actually turn your magnification up or down to calibrate the reticle to your sight picture and line it up for your specific rifle. As a random example, if you had to turn the magnification to 10 times, well, now it's not calibrated for a 308 anymore. Now it's pretty much on par with a 6.5 Creedmoor shooting a 143 grain Hornady ELDX, which is a very popular sort of crossover PRS slash long range slash hunting round. So somewhere between, let's say, the 6 times and 12 times zoom range, you're going to find a point where your specific rifle matches up pretty darn close to the reticle hold points at 150, 200, 300, 400 meters or yards. Raptor 1 stands for Rapid Trajectory 1, and this reticle has hold points, as I mentioned, for 150 to 400 meters, assuming 100 meter zero, and each hold line marks 5 mile per hour wind drift at that specific distance. Of course, if you want to use this method of calibrating your rifle to the reticle using the magnification ring, you've got to be very, very careful about returning that magnification ring to the same point every time. And so what I'd strongly suggest if you're going to do this is to just put a little piece of tape on the magnification ring and mark off the exact point where your setup is calibrated so that you can return to it very easily. It should serve you well if you do this right. The alternative method is actually much simpler. If you want to do it differently, you determine what you want your magnification to be at. Let's say you decide you want to use the scope at 12 times when you're hunting. Well, then you just take the included stickers that we have in the box, you write down 12 times on the sticker, you write down the actual distance that each hold line coincides with, and you stick it in your flip-up cap or you stick it on the side of your rangefinder, and it's there for you to see. Very easy. The HDLR offers APR or all-purpose reticles, and they're a little bit more straightforward. They sub-tend at 16 times and are available in MOA or MRAD. If you're familiar with the APR reticles in most of our other scopes, you'll know how they work. There's a floating center dot which allows you to get nice and precise on target. You've got hold points in mil or MOA, and you've even got a mil or MOA scale with each line coinciding with one click on the turrets, which makes it very easy to not only zero the scope precisely, but also if you want to measure, let's say, the antler or horn size of an animal downrange, you can use this fine mil or MOA scale to do that. It's just one of those features that we threw in there that takes this reticle to another level. All the information that you need for these reticles can be found in the reticle guide included with each scope, and of course in the manual itself. So if you're a hunter and you're looking for a very versatile but affordable scope that does everything well, whether it's stalking through a forest in Europe or trekking up a mountain in Idaho, I think we've got you pretty well covered. We take huge pride in our products, and we've put a lot of time and effort into implementing quality control procedures and stringent testing to ensure that these things serve you very, very well out in the field, no matter what you might be doing. And of course, if something goes wrong, we do have our platinum lifetime warranty, which has you covered. You can learn more about that at our website. You can visit us at element-optics.com or find us on social media. You can use the hashtag #SeeItSendIt to show us what these scopes go through during their lifespan. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see it. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.